Kristallnacht. It was a cool night in early November 1938. I was 8 years old, going on 9. My parents and I had just been to see a movie, a German film about the Olympics, which had been held in Berlin the year before we moved there. I was upset because I'd wanted to see The Adventures of Robin Hood instead. I'd read the book and wanted to see the American movie of it, but the Nazis had banned the film from Germany. I hopped from the sidewalk into the street and back again, pretending to be Robin Hood fighting the Sheriff of Nottingham as we walked home to the Irish embassy. I loved the idea of Robin Hood protecting the poor and the helpless from the evil King John, especially because John was the King of England. If I weren't Irish and already born to hate them, I had plenty of other good reasons for loathing the English. Then we heard the first crash. The three of us froze. The crash was followed by a woman's scream, and the acrid smell of smoke bit at my nose as a black cloud rose over the rooftops the next street over. "A fire," Da said. "Hurry, we have to help." We ran for the street corner, but before we got there, 5 men in brown shirts and red armbands came around the turn carrying axes and sledgehammers and paintbrushes and torches. One of them smashed a store window with his axe, and my father threw out an arm to hold me and Ma back. Glass showered the streets, shattering into 1,000 bright shards. A man dipped his brush into a can of paint and then slathered it all up and down the front of the shop, painting something on the wood. Across the street, 2 more men broke the windows of a department store and tossed red paint all over the shoes on display. I didn't understand. "Go, move," Ma said, snapping us all out of our stupor. "We have to run." "Why? What's happening?" I asked, but my parents were already dragging me away. More shouts, more screams. Far off in the distance, a siren. We ran into a side street and stopped again. Shards of glass covered every inch of the street like ice, crunching under our feet. Every window had been shattered, and the word Jude, the German word for Jew, had been painted on storefronts. Sometimes there were even little cartoon pictures of Jews. They had big noses and round heads and dull looks on their faces. "My God, they're finally doing it," Da said. "They're going after the Jews." I didn't understand what he meant, but I was afraid. Men wearing plain clothes and carrying axes had broken down the door of a synagogue where Jewish people went to pray. The men began tossing prayer books and scrolls into the middle of the street. One of the men with a torch bent to set fire to the pile, and another man, a Jew, I guessed, came running out of an apartment building nearby trying to stop him. The other men caught the Jew, and one of them struck him in the head with the wooden handle of his axe. The Jewish man dropped down to the street, the broken glass clattering beneath him, and the men gathered around him and beat him with the handles of their axes, while their comrades set fire to the pile of Jewish relics. I gaped in horror, my heart thudding in my chest in time with the whacks of the axe handles, until my mother put her hand over my eyes and pulled me away. "We have to get back to the embassy," Da said. I pushed my mother's hand away and dragged the sleeve of my coat across my eyes. I hadn't even realized I was crying. "That man, they were hurting him. We have to go back and help him," I said. "We can't, love," my mother whispered. She was crying too, I realized, and that scared me even more. "Keep your heads down," Da told us. "Keep your heads down and don't say anything or do anything." Every street we turned down was strewn with broken glass and filled with men carrying sledgehammers and axes. It was happening all over the city. Some of the rioters wore the brown shirts of the SA, the Sturmabteilung, the thugs of the Nazi Party. But more of them wore ordinary woolen trousers and suspenders and white work shirts with the sleeves rolled up. Regular citizens who wanted to run the Jewish people out of town. We were close to the embassy when we came upon a squad of Gestapo, Germany's secret police, loading men into a truck. At last, the police were rounding up the rioters. A Gestapo man stopped us and spoke to my father. I didn't know much German then, but I understood that he wanted to see our papers.